I'm back again. Made it back into the country. Got stopped by Border Patrol for a little bit. They weren't happy with my friend's passport, but you know, what can you do? It was quite funny is that I flew to the US and I thought, maybe the Border Patrol, like I have this, maybe they have a reputation or something where it's going to be like, they're going to be really serious, but actually flying into the States, everybody was super friendly, super smooth. Come to the UK, Border Patrol are, well, I don't want to say anything rude, but you know what I mean. So there we go. And it's like, yo, look at my passport. I live here. Just chill. Everything's all good. All right. So how's everybody doing this week? We've got a little bit of a box. I apologize if my voice is a little bit off. I've been coughing a lot, and I think I picked up something on holiday, but you know, everything's fine. We'll live with it. And I don't know, I should have got some water, but I forgot. So we're all good. And you know, the cat's in the bed. She's just chilling. Hopefully she'll stay calm. I don't know where the ginger one is. I think she's sleeping on a radiator because it's quite cold here in the UK now. So all good. Let me scroll down. How are you all doing today? Good to see you, Chameleon. Oh, live overflow. Yeah. You know, I feel like I need to reach out to Fabian and just be like, hey, let's do a joint live stream and we'll just try and confuse everybody. Not with Android or anything like that, but just by trying each other's accents or something like this. So all good. Does the live stream stay after the live ends? Yes, usually. Unless I say something that gets us demonetized and then we quickly delete it. No, I'm kidding. The live streams, you can find them on the live tab for the Cyber Mentor. So they should be there. So if you have to drop off, you're all good. You can come back and skip the bits you don't like, rewatch the bits you do like, and then you're all good. All right, let me keep scrolling down. What's up, Hiro? How you doing? What's up, John? Let's see if we have any questions coming in. What's up, Hamza? How you doing? Oh. I missed this. I was on holiday and I was like, nobody has asked me to hack Facebook for a while. And Chameleon, first one in. We're all good. I don't know, your password's probably in like the top 10 of RockU. So just try the top 10 of RockU and you're good to go. So there you go. And if you have 2FA enabled and they send you a text, just go to the like your mobile phone provider, tell them you lost your SIM, get a new SIM, put it in, and then you can start receiving the MFA texts, because everybody loves MFA over text message. Not the most secure MFA solution, but all good. Let me keep scrolling down. I'm curious to know, does anybody know where I went on holiday? Anybody from, I think like 2 people know. So when will Alex do cloud pen testing? Isn't everything cloud pen testing? Isn't it all? I don't know. Like I don't have that. Like I don't have that much experience doing cloud stuff, to be honest with you. Like a little bit, but not enough to like teach. I think. So my knowledge of AWS is reasonably good because I'm also a user of AWS and I spend a lot of time using AWS services. And so my knowledge of like AWS and user management and configurations and deploying stuff and automation, everything in there is fine. But again, I'm not like a professional cloud pen tester. So I'm hesitant to teach cloud pen testing, and I don't just want to like repackage general knowledge. So we'll have some cloud stuff at some point for sure, but I'm not convinced that I'm the right person for it. So we're all good. What's up? Birmingham's not too far away. How are you doing? Creeway, good to see you. Let me keep scrolling down. Oh, nice. Yeah, this chair is actually super comfy. The only downside to a chair like this is if you have 2 feral cats like me, use it as a scratching post. So it probably looks okay from the camera, but honestly, they've destroyed it. So if you have cats, don't get the like the cloth one of this chair. It's yeah, it won't last long, unfortunately. So you're all good. Let me keep scrolling down. So we've got a box lined up today. What I'm thinking of doing is, because my voice isn't 100% today, so I'm thinking we're going to do the user shell this week, and then we'll do the roots next week. But if we do the user shell in like 10 minutes, then we'll carry on, obviously, and do the root shell. But if we don't get it for a while, we'll do it in 2 parts, because I don't know. I've been off my game. I'm still on holiday mode. I busted my rib from surfing. Everything's good. Everything's good. Do I have rollerblade wheels? On what? I have rollerblades. I also have wheels. Like, do you mean on my chair? I don't understand. Also, how are you doing, Ping? Good to see you. Let me keep scrolling down. Oh, is it a big step going from scripting to programming? I mean, they're kind of the same thing. I think what you mean is going from scripting to being a professional like software engineer or programmer. In that case, yes, I think it is quite like there is a lot of difference, because when you're a software engineer or developer or programmer, from a professional perspective, honestly, writing the code and writing the syntax is the easy bits. It's like being able to break down problems and design systems and test them properly and make sure they're scalable, and using the right architecture and using the right, there's all sorts of things that go into being a software engineer that, as security professionals, we're like, we can build this random app. But honestly, it's probably not scalable. It probably all needs to be refactored if we want to add a feature. It's probably not very secure and things like this. So I think going from scripting to being like building production-ready systems, there's a whole world of difference. And I think a lot of people don't really realize that actually being a software engineer is a lot more than just typing out code all day. So yeah, I think there's quite a big gap. But it's pretty cool. If security didn't exist, I'd probably still be a software engineer. And that's it. So I have 2 cats and that's it. No, I don't have any children. Kids are not for me. So, I'm quite happy being the fun uncle. This is my role in life. I have a niece and I look after her like once a month for like the weekend, and we have a great time. And then I get to give her back, and then I get to enjoy my life. So it's all good. But yeah, no, me personally, I don't have children. I just have 2 crazy feral kittens. That one of them's here. She's just chilling. Aren't you, Pops? Yeah, you can kind of see her. Maybe I can. There you go. You can see her a little bit more now. The light's not really on her, but all good. Okay. Oh, good question. Okay, so do you usually report in a web app pen test, report things like negative numbers with no impact on some fields, usernames with numbers and things like this? Good question. I would probably put it as informational, or just like a FYI, but I wouldn't, if there was no impact, then I wouldn't give it a rating like low, medium, high, critical, for example. But yeah, quirky behavior, I do report quirky behavior, because sometimes, for example, you've got an API endpoint and you're trying to grab like the users, and it takes in the username or the user ID. Occasionally you'll send like -1 and it will return all the users, because logic, so sometimes you can get like really good findings from stuff like that. But if there's no impact, then I just chuck it in informational, like weird behavior. Not everybody does, and I don't think you have to. If there's no impact, I don't think you should always report stuff. But personal preference, I like to talk to devs and be like, this is quirky, it's probably worth putting in your backlog, and somebody just doing a little bit of code review at some point. So you're all good. We do have, hold on, I have announcements. So just a heads up before we dive in, where's the ticker gone? It's disappeared. There's some Black Friday stuff. In fact, there's loads of Black Friday stuff. So if you're not subscribed to our emails, you've probably been missing out. But there's a couple of pen testing bundles available for Black Friday. So there's a pen tester bundle and a certification bundle. And there's loads of other stuff happening. So there's like live SOC training. There's the attacking and defending Active Directory. I think there's 20% offsets until Black Friday is over. And oh yeah, there's 50% off the first payment for the Academy as well. So, and also if you're on the Academy, the next module for advanced web hacking is dropping next week. So that's coming in as well. So if you have a Academy subscription and you want to do some web app stuff, there's more web app stuff coming. And then I think my next module will either be end of December or very early January, because, you know, Christmas holidays are kind of tricky, but I've got another module coming out soon after as well. So lots of web stuff in the works, which is always fun. And yeah, the advanced courses or labs that we've built in-house, which is cool. And hopefully you like debugging and code review, because there's a lot of that kind of stuff in there. So all good. Excuse me. Let me keep scrolling down. Oh, do I have a favorite program for bug hunting? Like, do you mean software to use for bug hunting? Probably Burp Suites. Or do you mean like the actual bug bounty like platform? Because I just use Integrity and that's it. So I do like, and I'm a bug bounty dabbler, because, you know, working full time and then doing like side projects and then also trying to keep healthy leaves no time for bug bounty, unfortunately. Even though I don't have kids, I don't have unlimited time, unfortunately. So, but yeah, Burp Suite is pretty much my go-to. I pretty much do everything in. You can use Kaido as well. Kaido is also good. Whichever you prefer. And then I kind of rarely use other tools. I might use like InQL if I'm testing a GraphQL web app. A lot of like the recon stuff and like the network stuff, it's not really my jam. I'm more of like application analysis, read front end code, and I don't know, drink tea, and that's it. That's my general approach. But everybody's different, so all good. Oh, another web app pen test question. If you know the targets hosted on cloud, for example, do you test for injection even knowing they're handled by AWS? Yes, I'd still test, because so nowadays, if you go back like, what, 4 years, 3 years, 4 years, when you're pen testing AWS, you had to like tell them you were pen testing and then whatever. Now I think you're basically all good to go. And obviously, if you find an issue that's to do with the AWS platform, probably need to report it to AWS. But it depends on whether like you're testing something software as a service or if it's infrastructure as a service. Depends what layer you're testing, especially for like web apps. Yeah, I would chest injection for sure. Because most of the time it's the application logic where the issue is, and that's going to be written and handled by your customer, or at least within the responsibility of your client. So yeah, I definitely would. Really wish I could afford the thousands of dollars bundles. Yeah. Like most of the stuff isn't too expensive, but I mean, it depends on whether you're going for like live training and things like that. But you've always got the Academy, and we've got the live training here, like the live streams and stuff. And you can always study with people on Discord. There's plenty of ways to do things on a budget for sure. For me, when I was working, I'd say like I was maybe 3 years into security and starting to do certs and things like that. I didn't have much budget either. I did most of my training just from like cheaper videos and stuff like that, and YouTube. There was a lot less out there back then, unfortunately. But yeah, you can definitely, like, you know, do things on a budget, and then you're all good. All right. Oops. Oh, there's a question that's popped up. Hold on. My screen's a little small today. Oh, there we go. Okay, so how much is networking knowledge useful for, is enough for red team? That's kind of like a how long is a piece of string question. I think you need to have strong networking skills for sure. You need to understand like networking generally, subnets, how to pivot between them, how data flows between them, especially if you're red teaming as well. Like, I think, yeah, you have to have, I'd say, intermediate networking knowledge. Like, in, you know, so if you've done like a certification in networking, and you're, you know, you can type like IP tables and understand what's going on, or you can type routes and see the output in a complex network and see what's going on. You know how like subnets connect to each other and the number of hosts and all this stuff, then I think you're basically good. Probably not more than that. But then there's a lot of network services that you might use as a red teamer as well. So yeah, and it depends on the red team, because not all red teamers are the same, right? Some red teamers are like really high level, and some red teamers are using Nessus. So, you know, that's it. Ooh, what's my favorite drink to relax with? Tea, for sure. I think I've been I gave up drinking a while ago, so I was, maybe still am, a big whiskey drinker, but I'm just like, I'm sober at the moment, so tea is the way to go. Do I know how to look at assembly in IDEA Pro? At a very basic level, yes, I can do basic buffer overflows and things like this and step through, but reverse engineering is not my jam, for sure. Web apps are where it's at. Web apps are where it's at. Let's take like 3 more questions, and then we'll jump into a box. Oh, first one, how did you get started with TCM security? I saw a post on LinkedIn from Heath, and I applied. So he was looking for content creators, and I was like, you know, I've been teaching a lot of devs and doing a lot of stuff, and I was ready to kind of like move on from my previous company, and just applied to the job, and then had some interviews, and thankfully, you know, at the time, when Zach was there and Heath, they both liked what I did and what I said, and that's it really. Most of the time, I think most of us get picked up through the community. So if you're active in the community, like the roles tend to go to those people. But I was one of the lucky ones who, you know, Heath didn't know I existed before I applied for the job. So there we go. Let me answer 2 more questions. Ooh, AI and cyber. I still think it's early days. AI is a great assistance. It can improve your workflow for sure. But we've still got a long way to go until it's like, you know, replacing jobs or doing stuff that's really accurate. I think it just, like with me, it speeds up my workflow, and it's helpful for like a few different things, but only things that are like well documented and et cetera, et cetera. So, you know, it's a good tool, just like everything else. Okay, we're not going down this rabbit hole yet. Not yet. Maybe later. Let's take 1 more question. So, oh, this is a good question from Chris. So do most companies prioritize web application testing over server testing? So I'm presuming you mean more like network pen testing. So I think it's quite even, because a lot of companies are in scope for PCI DSS and other regulations, which means they basically have to have a yearly pen test. But then also a lot of organizations are basically internet companies, so they just have some internet service. So I think it's like half and half. I think a lot of pen testing companies probably, maybe it's like 60-40, like 60% network pen testing, 40% web app pen testing. And then maybe like there's other like bits and pieces like physical pen tests and red teaming and other stuff that goes on, cloud assessments, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, I think it's not that far off each other. And I think now, previously network pen testers have done a lot of web app pen testing, but I think web app pen testing is more of its own specialty field now, which I think is the correct thing for the industry to do. So that's good. All right, let's get on with this box. Hold on, let me sign into my VM and switch over to here and spin up a machine. So the box we're doing today is White Rose, and I read the description, and that's basically it. So we might get completely stuck. Everything might go horribly wrong. But I know, at the very least, I know the start is a web, so, a web entry. So we're all good from that point of view. Fingers crossed. I haven't forgotten everything while I was away surfing. Ooh, what games? While it's loading up, what games am I playing? I'm not playing games at the moment, really. I occasionally play Teamfight Tactics, but it's the PBE at the moment, so the new season starting. So I'm just chilling, and I've got a new course module coming out, so that's been taking up most of my time as well. So no games for me. Been doing like climbing and surfing and stuff like that. Been trying to get away from my computer more, which is nice. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like winter is a good time to play games, but also in England, the only good time to surf is in winter. So I've got to make the most of the surf season here when there are actually waves, even though they're kind of far away from where I live. So let's make a directory called White Rose. Okay, we're good. Let me go to here. Okay. All right, we've got a box up and we're all good. So it was snowing here yesterday, which is quite interesting. It's kind of early for snow, although it is November. So is it that early? Don't know. What do we want to do first? How do we want to do this? I've totally forgotten how to pen test things. Let's just nmap -a this and output normal scan. Whoops, scan dot initial. Let's just see what nmap comes up with. I'm pretty sure it's a web box, but in fact, let's try this. Let's go into let's go burp suite. Yeah, 80 is open. Nginx 1.14. That's quite old, isn't it? Can't remember. Can't remember the Nginx versions. Okay, so let's open my browser. Okay, so it looks like we get forwarded to Cyprus Bank. So let's add this to our host file. Oops. Oh, come on. Oh my God. It's all going wrong. Let's use Nano. I don't know what's happening with my keyboard today. Some of my keyboard keys are not working properly, so I don't know. What was it? Cyprus COP iOS bank dot TryHackMe. Let's try refresh this. Oh, come on. What's going on here? My proxy's not working. There we go. Just took a while. It was probably the local cache in the browser, because when you do DNS requests, it'll check your browser cache, and then it'll check your system, and then it'll check like the name servers. So it takes a second to go through. So all good. So this is, I'm using Ubuntu because Kali's quite heavy, and for like web stuff, like I think Kali's a great operating system for pen testing, but it's really heavy and I can't be bothered to keep it up to date. And I just like the tools that I use. And if I need another tool, I'll just install it and then I'll remove it afterwards. And so, and it kind of makes sense, right? So for a long time, when I was doing like a lot of pen testing, I just used Debian, or I'd use Ubuntu, and I'd have the tools that I wanted, and then it's all good. But then when I was live streaming and teaching, it's like, okay, I use Kali because it's the most accessible. But now my streaming Kali broke, and I had some issues with it, so I was like, you know what? I'll just use Ubuntu. Everything's fine when you use the Ubuntu LTS, and we're all good. But to be honest, like it doesn't make much difference. Like switching between different Linux operating systems is not that difficult. So especially when you're just like using it and you're not like an admin for it. Like if you're a Linux admin, yeah, it probably makes a difference. But using Burp Suite and Chrome and a few command line tools, I mean, it's like userland, isn't it? Okay, so let's scan this, and let's use the search -u and see what we found. Oh, my rib. So when I was surfing, I dropped into this big wave, and I kind of caught it nicely and turned, but then it crashed on me, and I went into the washing machine, and then my board smashed me in the ribs. And I thought I'd broken my rib at the time, but it's just bruised. But when I cough and things, it really hurts. So every time I cough today, I'm gonna be like, my ribs. That's the price you pay for I don't know, having fun. So it's all good. Yeah, the box is called White Rose, like this. So all good. Let me keep going down. So I used Parrot OS like what, 2 years ago, and honestly, I had so many issues with it. I stopped using it. So it might be good now, might be more stable, but it wasn't when I was using it a couple of years ago. The wallpaper is actually in the Discord. If you go to the Wednesday live stream, I think I've linked it there, and it's just AI generated. I think I used Midjourney, if I recall. Okay, we don't find anything here, so either we need to widen our search, or we need to search for a subdomain, which I can never remember how to do with FUF. So I think it's something like this. If we do FFUF, and then we use, yeah, I have a subdomains list here, and then is it -h? And we do like host fuzz dot cyprus bank dot thm, and then -u is going to be the IP address, which I need to find somewhere like this. That was suspiciously fast. Did that work? Yeah, maybe it isn't that. Okay. It's been a while since I used FFUF. Oh, maybe we want this. Whoops. Otherwise, oh my God. Okay. Yeah. That's what I was expecting to happen. So let's filter this. So we can filter size or filter words. FW1. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So we get a 302 on admin here. So we can add that to our host file. I wonder if we did miss something in the initial scan, but I'm not sure. We might have to. If we run into a dead end, we'll come back and sudo nano etc hosts, and then admin.cypressbank.thm. Even dub might be something different, but it's unlikely. Okay, so let's grab this. Oh, come on. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Admin. I was fighting with Burp Suite earlier today because I was having some issues with GraphQL and some of like the responses are not coming back properly. And I know it's Burp Suite because I've tested it in so many different browsers, no problems at all. But so me and Burp Suite had a falling out at lunch, but we're fine again now, so it's all good. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, I think Parrot has a lot of issues, and this is why I don't use it. How to close Vim? Escape Q ! If you need to force escape. There you go. This is it. There are some good questions here, but some of them are going to take a while to answer. So I'm going to carry on for a little bit, and then I'm going to come back to some more questions. But yeah, keep them rolling in. On the box, we do actually get some creds. So we have Olivia Cortez, and hold on, I'm just going to copy and paste the password. So the password is this, Oliviate, but it gives us that in like the box description. So, maybe it's not. Maybe, why didn't that work? Are these creds for somebody else? Or maybe I type it something. Let's try copy and paste. I don't think I did a capital C. There we go. That's it. No capital C. Because, so on this box, so go ahead and start it up. We need these creds. We need to find Terrell Wellick's phone number. So there he is. So we need to find Terrell Wellick's phone number. Are these commas or dots? How much money has this guy got? This is really confusing. Is he like a billionaire? This money formatting is blowing my mind. Okay, cool. It's all good. Okay, so we can start looking through this. There's some different, let's see all the accounts. Let's just try some basic SQL injection. No, looks like no SQL here. No, okay, no SQL injection by the looks of it. We can probably like come back to this. Maybe there's some other injection we can do. If we run out of ideas, we'll come back and we'll throw that into SQL map and see whether it finds something. But I don't see anything on this page. Let's just have a quick look at the source. No, nothing crazy. That's fine. Settings. We don't have permissions to view this page. Okay. Let's just have a quick peek into Burp Suites. Okay, so we've got this cookie, which looks like a standard cookie for web apps. There's nothing crazy. This connect.sid is pretty common. So we probably don't need to look at that, at least not right now. Messages. We don't get cross-site scripting in the chats. I was wondering this because usually in CTFs, we don't care about cross-site scripting because there's not other users to trigger it. But I think because there's other messages in here, if we can get cross-site scripting here, we might be able to do it. Although we probably also want to check here, for example. So this, yeah, looks like this has been encoded. So if we, whoops, oh no. Control-Shift-U. Why doesn't that work? Whatever. Okay. So image source equals X on error equals prompts like this. Let's see if this works. No, there's server side escaping here. So this seems fine. What is this one? Ooh, okay. So we can see different messages. We might have to fuzz this. Oh, there we go. Look, there's password there. Nice. Okay, so we found some creds. Let's come into here and just come into notes. Oops. So let's get rid of these. Hopefully the quotes. Gail Bev. Before we log into that account, oh no, there's nothing else to look at. These are all the main links. We could do also a little bit of fuzzing on this. So we've got like /messages, /settings, /search. We could do some stuff on here. If you're wondering why, when I click on this and you see loads of stuff like appearing in the URL, it's because I've got DOM Invader switched on. So if I switch this off and start, you see that it's not doing its like background checks. DOM Invader is really good for like finding prototype pollution and like DOM clobbering and stuff like this. So, but I think for now we should be good. I'll be surprised if if this box has prototype pollution. It tends to be on slightly harder machines, and you usually get hints. It'll be like, you know, a prototype or blueprints application or something like this. So all good. All right, so let's log in as the other guy, Gail Bev, and let me answer a few more questions. Whoops. All right. We got the phone numbers. Okay, so we're logged in as a higher level user. All right, let me grab this phone number. Put that in. Correct answer. All right, we need those points. This is it. All right, so here we go. Let me switch to the questions. I can see there's 30 pinned questions. So I'm just going to answer a few before we continue. Interesting question. Is internship or entry-level pen test job better option for established professionals just now entering security? I think it depends on the company. Go with the one that offers you a better culture, more training opportunities, more interesting projects, one that you think you can grow into. Yeah, I think if you're thinking like think long term and just try and analyze them and figure out which one's great, because there'll be great internships and there'll be terrible internships, and there'll be great entry-level jobs and terrible entry-level jobs. So I think take it as a case-by-case basis rather than a either or, if that makes sense. Oh, what's my opinion on OSINT GPT? I haven't used the OSINT GPT actually, so maybe we're gonna have to try it. It's probably useful, but I just haven't used it. So I don't do much in terms of OSINT. Yeah, so there we go. Let me keep scrolling down. Oh, I've answered some of these. All good. Oh, what's the best way to analyze JavaScript when the front end has inputs or login form? Not 100% sure what you mean, but the best thing to do is if you're worried about like front-end code tampering with your requests, then just put your payloads into your proxy, into like Burp Suite, for example. So as we saw like a second ago, where's my proxy? Here you can see that like this is being encoded. And so if you want to send a payload that doesn't get encoded by the front end or by like the form submission or behavior of the application, then do everything in your proxy. I think that's the best way to go. So working out of your proxy is, makes life much easier for sure. Let me keep coming down. Oh, any plans to add programming certifications to TCM? I'm not sure. But this would be a good question for Heath in one of his next time he live streams. Definitely catch this question and get his opinion on it. We do have more programming courses coming out to help bolster people's skills, but I'm not sure if we will do certifications for them. So yeah, interesting question. But I'm not sure off the top of my head, unfortunately. I'm not privy to the long-term strategy of like the other areas. I just do web stuff. Yeah. So and that's it. All good. All right, last one before we jump back into this box. Underrated jobs/path for web app pen testers to start their journey. Yeah, so like arguably the best one is being a developer, but I actually think QA engineers make excellent testers because they understand behavior of applications and they have like a really good antenna for when something's not behaving as it should. And having worked with both developers and as a developer and with QA engineers, and seeing like QA engineers being like, this happened and this was the result, and the developer being like, oh no, that shouldn't happen, that's not how it is, and the QA engineer is like, that's how it is. This is it. You can't escape from that. But quite a pragmatic and being like, this is the situation, it needs to be fixed, rather than kind of just, I don't know. Yeah, I think QA is a good and interesting start for web app pen testing. Seeing lots of stuff, especially being able to automate and work on a large scale and efficiently. I think if you wanted anybody to build your tools to like scan a host of tons and tons of web apps, or to automate some process, or to pick up on some quirky behavior, QA people, that's where it's at. So yeah, I think this is it. This is quite a beginner friendly box, I think. At least I hope so. So far, it's not been too bad. We've just scanned, we found the subdomain, we logged in, we found some credentials by tampering with a parameter, and it's been all good so far. All right, last question. How long have I been in cybersecurity? I think this is 10 years this year. Yeah, maybe. No, it's going to be it's 10 years this year, as of September. I got my first job in security 10 years ago. Yeah, that's a long time. But I haven't been in AppSec or pen testing the whole time. I've done a number of different jobs in security. So there we go. All good. All right, let's carry on. Let's carry on. Oh my, so much money. Can we just steal this and retire? In fact, I don't even need this much. I could just take 0.001% and I'd still be happy. Okay, what are we doing now? We couldn't access this page before, and now we can. So when you're on a CTF and you grab a new user account, and then you can suddenly access something, that's a good thing to do, is to look at what you have that you didn't have before. We don't know how many user levels there are in this application, and it looks like from here we can't tell who is what kind of user, because there might be different levels of like administrators. So we've got like Terrell here, and we can update passwords. Let's just try test. Password updated to test. Oh, these are customer names. Is that the same as these people? Let's check it. Greg Hiraku. And then let's just go into, I don't know, Firefox. Oh, come on. There we go. Greg Hiraku. Oh, okay. So doesn't look like the functionality works, but it's still here. What if we do like -1, -1? No. Doesn't like that. Doesn't like that. Oh, have we broken the application? No, we haven't. Maybe we have. I'm not sure. Yeah, we don't get any SQL errors or anything like this. Let's try. Have a look in here. While this is running, what I'm going to do is, excuse me, I'm also going to do a search. Whoops. Where are we? We want this. And I want to make sure that I haven't missed anything. I wonder if we might need to start like fuzzing parameters and things like this in here. Okay, yeah. Please enter a valid name. Okay. This is EJS, which is nice because I use EJS all the time. And you can see here in the settings, we've got a home, web, app, node modules, EJS. I wonder if this is template injection. Does EJS have remote code execution? Can't remember. So in like templating engines, right, what you do is you send a template and it gets processed, and then you send in like, instead of having like hard-coded stuff, you just basically put variables in. The common mistake with EJS is, if I bring up my terminal, is we need to be authenticated. But anyway, so you have like the tags. I can't remember exactly what they are off the top of my head. But you can put like tags like this instead of the ampersand or something, and then it's like you disable the encoding. So it's really easy to get cross-site scripting. Oh, sorry, it's not that. It's percentage like this. But then if you do one, so like you'll have some content here, right, like this. And then if you do this, I think you get cross-site scripting. Can't remember. But you can see in here, like you've got like basic if statements and stuff like that. So if password is not equals to -1, throw an alert box saying, hey, password updated to this. If the type of error is not equal to undefined, then it's gonna, the if statement's gonna carry on. So let's do some Googling. I'm not convinced, but let's see. I don't think I've seen server-side template injection in EJS before, and the cat's awake. Hello, Poppy. Please don't trash my stuff. She's prowling. Okay, that's fine. EJS, SSTI. Let's try and search for RC. So we have hack tricks, which is useful. Looks like we've got a couple of interesting ones to look at. Ooh. Okay, so POC, settings, view options, close delimiter, process, main module, required child, spawning child process, exec sync, calc. Okay, so this pops calc apparently. What does this do? View options, output function name. Okay, and this one's trying to pop a shell. Let's just try it, I suppose. So if I grab this, come back to Burp Suite, and whoops, not two ands. Let's see whether we can get Sonatcat. I need my IP address. This one. Hopefully Netcat's on the box. Otherwise it might just hang. Ooh, something just got destroyed. Yeah, so here you can see command failed. Let's put this into, oh no, it's going to be easier to read, I think, here. Sorry if it's a little bit small. So command failed, netcat, invalid option -E. So it doesn't look like we have netcat on the box, but let's just verify. Let's curl, or in fact, let's wget to see whether we have Python 3-m http.7 80 like this. Permission denied. Sudo. Okay, yeah, we do have code execution. So basically what we've done is we found this payload, right, from Google, and blindly copied and pasted it in. But we've changed the function, or the exec, to wget, and it's trying to grab this from our IP address. So this is like http:// our IP address, and then just blank. And you can see the get request coming in here. So the fact that we can send this to the target server, and then we see that we get a call. So if I send again, you can see we get another 3 requests. This means we have code execution. So what we want to do now is start up a listener and then try and pop a shell. So how do we want to do this? Let's go for let's go payloads, all the things. Sending bash shells over over HTTP is always annoying. Hold on. This is what I wanted. Okay, so let's try this. So we're 10.11.74.244. 10.11.74.244. So are we messing with, looks like we're okay with the quotes. No, I didn't like that. We might have to, see, we've got this and in here as well. So we might need to URL encode this. Yeah, it doesn't like that. That's annoying. Okay, let's try a different one. I wonder if Python's on the box. Or we could do the what's it called? The base64 encode trick. That's always a good one to go for. Let's think. Bash base64. Whoops. Bash base64. Reverse shell. So this is not what I wanted. Yeah, something like this. So this is basically the same as what we did before, but we're going to, no, I want to echo. I just want to echo this bit. Whoops. Oh, bloody hell. Here we go. So let's do this. 4444. And then we need our IP address, which is here. And then we want to send this to base 64. And then, okay, so we want this. And then we want our command to be something like bash -c echo this to base 64-d, like this. Is that right? Or am I missing something? I think, oh no, we need to pipe this to, no, okay, hold on. Like this. Is that going to work? No, that didn't work. What am I doing wrong here? Oh, password is not defined. What is that all about? Bash-c echo this to base 64-d. Pipe bash. It's been a while since I've done this one. I might need bin bash. Let's see. All right, somebody in the chat might have solved it for me. So hold on, let me come back. Otherwise, we'll try some Python payloads or something like this. Whoa. What are you guys talking about? Yeah, this is also a good one. But the reason I want to not try and use these ones like this is because they have a lot of special characters in that are going to mess with the HTTP request. And then if I have to encode it, it might not execute correctly. Oh, I see. All right, wait. Echo. I'm just looking at Q. Q always gives me good answers. The problem I've got is I think I need it all to be in quotes. So this is the problem. We could just create a exploit and then use wget and then do it. But I don't know. Who else has a good idea? Oh yeah, BusyBox is a good one. Let's try BusyBox. Is it this one? Yeah, this is it. What's our IP address? This is how I get the BusyBox ones usually. So we want to echo. Whoops. Oh, good shout. Yeah, that looks like it's worked. Wait, where's my shout? Because it hung. There we go. Yeah, nice. Yeah, good shout. Who said that? Was it Q? Or was it somebody else? Whoever said BusyBox, good shouts. I can't see who it was now. There's too much chat, but it's all good. Yeah, thanks for the help. So if we just do Python 3-c import pty pty.spawn bin bash. Okay, so we're web. Home web app. Okay, so we're in the app folder, and then there's user.txt. Okay, nice. So we got a flag finally. Let me grab this because I need the points. Forever catching up with everybody who spends more time than once a week doing TryHackMe. Okay, so let's just have a quick look around. See what we can find. It's probably not a reused password. MongoDB, I wonder if maybe there's some interesting stuff in there, but probably not. Okay, so we've got not a lot of users. Maybe we go straight to root. But we're going to do root next week, I think. But let's have a very brief look around. Oh, it could be LXD. The Linux containers. Okay. This is, yeah, I think the way. Sudo edit? Can I get the version? It's been a long time since I used 1.9. This looks like the way, but we're going to do this next week because my voice is going, and I don't know. It's been a long week, so all good. But let's all read up on sudo edit before next week, and we'll see whether we can exploit this, and then we'll do some other fun stuff. Because so next week I've got a new module dropping for my course, so I'll show a little bit of that as well, and we'll do some cool GraphQL stuff too. So we'll finish this off and do that. All right, let me take a few more questions before we wrap up. And look who it is. Better late than never, I suppose. How are you doing, Arubius? Hope you're good. Hope you're enjoying the new job. Let me take a few more questions before we wrap up. Is it possible to do a live real world bug bounty hunting? So the problem with this is if we're attacking live targets and we find a bug, everybody watching now knows about that bug and can go ahead and exploit the target. So from a like an ethical perspective, this is the reason we do CTFs and we don't do real life targets, is because of this. Because, you know, what happens when I find an issue, or if I leak some PII and it's on stream to everybody? Like that's not good. So unfortunately, it's we're stuck doing CTFs and you know, walkthroughs and things like this. But in a perfect world, yes, we'd attack live targets. But also, like, CTFs are a little nicer as well in terms of they're quite time efficient. You know, I might spend all day and maybe not find anything. And I don't know, you probably still learn some stuff, but it's like, you know, for some people it's hard to focus for 8 hours or whatever. Oh, my webcam's going crazy. Should be okay. Who's taking a break? What are you talking about? I've been here the whole time. I didn't go surfing for a week. I've just been hacking away. So all good. If we have a login form, how can we process ahead looking for vulnerabilities except for SQL injection? I mean, if you think about it, right? Think about like functionality. A login form, what it does, it takes some inputs, it processes it, excuse me, processes that input, and then makes like a database call, and then based on the logic gives you a couple of different outputs. So either logs you out or either logs you in or it doesn't log you in, or maybe it like blocks the account or something if it's also checking for brute force things. So when we think about the logic of that, like SQL injection is like the main thing because the functionality is interacting with the database. That doesn't mean there aren't other attacks. So for example, if there's no rate limiting, we can try like brute force attacks. We might try attacking the logic. So for example, I have seen a long time ago some login forms that required different things. So you'd have to like put in your username or like your email, your password, and then you'd have like a secret thing that you had to put in as well. And depending, like, you've got some weird old stuff. You don't really find this in modern applications, but like swapping parameters around or changing the order or sending like 2 parameters with the same name, knowing that, you know, some applications like Apache, for example, if you send username equals Alex, username equals Jeremy, it'll always take the last one. Whereas like other applications might like WAFs, for example, might check the first one and what will avoid the duplicates. So you can try and find like logic issues and things like that, but we don't find it so much anymore. So yeah, I think like login forms are an interesting one to test, but beyond like basic fuzzing and basic logic issues and injection attacks, usually there's not much to go for. And most devs know that if it's a login form, you need to pay attention to security because a login form is a security control, right? And so usually the focus of login forms is security. So you're probably going to find issues elsewhere in the application. But I think this is a good question. Yeah, all good. Let's take 3 more questions. What's up, Surav? Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Studying cybersecurity, but I don't know about hacking. Which course or sites is best to learn about hacking? Well, TCM Academy, of course. And you know, there's a Black Friday sale or deal or, you know, Black Friday thing going on. If you're a student as well, I think that you can get a discount too. So as long as you have like a .edu or education email, then you're all good. But if I recall, there's bundles going on at the moment. There's a discount on the certifications. There's live training coming up. So there's the SOC live training. There's the Attacking, Defending Active Directory. A discount on like the academy, or at least like the first payment because it's like a subscription. So yeah, check out tcm-sac.com and don't typo it, because if I think there's some like other random domains that are quite close, they're just like phishing domains. So make sure you go to the right one, and then you're all good. What cool thing did I learn this year now that the year comes to an end? Oof, good question. What did I learn this year? I learned not to surf waves that are over like 8 or 9 feet because it hurts. But seriously, yeah, what cool stuff did I? I'm sure I picked up a few things. Let me think for a second. I don't know. It's a tricky question. I feel like this year I haven't learned a lot of new things, but I've definitely deepened my understanding on some things, but not necessarily learned new things. Like, for example, looking into like GraphQL, for example, and looking at like field stuffing and field suggestions and things like this when introspection is disabled, and looking at different ways to like enumerate and fuzz for information on GraphQL endpoints. I've definitely improved, like, so I've gotten better at doing it, but I always knew I could do it, if that makes sense. So I think this year, yeah, I haven't really picked up many new things, but I've definitely gotten better at things. So I think that's it. I learned a lot of new Docker stuff as well. I spent a lot of time learning more about Docker, which is cool, and not necessarily from a like a security perspective, but from like a building and deploying labs perspective. And I learned a lot more about different JavaScript engines, different versions of JavaScript, and also like jQuery 2 and older versions of jQuery, which are used like so widely across the web still. Issues that like jQuery 2 has like DParam, which is vulnerable to prototype pollution. So when you're looking at the front end of an application, if it has old jQuery, you're like, best check for prototype pollution. So I think, yeah, I just improved things. I didn't learn anything new. Oh, web cache deception, because, you know, every year, whenever James Kessel releases his research, there's always new stuff to learn. But yeah, so that's it. I feel like I'm at a point where I just improve rather than learn. It's the same with a lot of things. I think like you're kind of just, you know, building on what you know. Her last question. This is actually, so fun fact, I spent a whole weekend building a JavaScript web app, which is like a clone of Robocode but uses JavaScript. It's not quite there yet, but maybe we can use it for our next competition. And for those that don't know, we occasionally run a Robocode competition, and I'm not that good. I only won once. So and Chameleon also did you win the first one, Chameleon? I can't remember. Was it you? Yeah, I think you have the title for sure. But I made a cool robot called the Jackhammer, and then built on top of that, and it seemed to be fun. So if you're interested in battling virtual robots, then I don't know, ping Hiro or Chameleon or Arubius, and they'll tell you all about our random adventures. All right, and I think that's it for the stream. So yeah, don't forget, there's loads of cool Black Friday stuff coming out. A ton of it. Excuse me, a ton of Blue Team stuff coming, including live training. Some cool assembly stuff happening as well. There's going to be loads of cool stuff, so it's all good. Hopefully next week I'll be back to like 100%. So apologies, like my voice is a bit off and I'm a bit off. I'm a bit sick at the moment because I'm just, you know, when you go on an active holiday and then you don't relax at all, you spend all day doing active things and then all night, you know, partying and stuff. So I'm recovering from my holidays still, but hopefully you'll have a great rest of the week. Have a great weekend, everybody, and